When I was filming our series Metal Evolution back in 2010, I had the opportunity to go to the homes of the members of Mastodon in Atlanta, Georgia. And I remember I went to the house of drummer Brann Dailor. We sat down in his living room and proceeded to geek out about all things prog rock. But the thing that strikes me most about this interview is how far Mastodon has come. In this interview, I remember Brann was nervous about playing Conan for the first time, and now in 2017, Mastodon are one of the biggest metal bands on the planet. Got that, Marty? Both cameras?
Yep.
Brann Dailor, take one. Who were your big British prog influences?
The standard ones.
Yeah.
Genesis and Yes, King Crimson, all that good stuff.
Yeah. And what drew you to that stuff? Did you
my
get into
parents.
that stuff when you were young?
That stuff was always there, you know.
Yeah.
The early Genesis stuff and the Yes and the King Crimson. Both my mom and my dad were both really into that stuff and played it quite a bit. And I found I found a videotape when I was like 14, I think, that my mom had of Genesis live at the Shepperton Theater, I think in '73.
Yeah, yeah.
And it also had they were live on Belgium television in '72. I think they were doing like most of like nursery crime stuff.
Right.
And I just would dork out on that and just watch it, you know, religiously every day when I got home from school.
Given that you were really into metal, I mean, what appealed to you about this prog stuff?
The band that I was in at the time, a band called Lethargy, was really kind of really progressive. Mm-hmm. It was really, you know, too many notes going on. And it was just, and at the time, there was a lot of like progressive stuff going on with metal, like Death had come out with a Human album, which was really like, it blew everybody's mind. You know, Cynic had come out just then as well, and Atheist, and just a bunch of bands that were out. There was a band called Human Remains that was out that was friends of ours, and they were just wild and playing all these crazy time signatures that were more like in the vein of prog rock and jazz. And I think that I kind of started to immerse myself in just finding this bizarre music.
Were you always drawn to music that was like really challenging, like virtuosic and that real strong musicianship
like
to it?
Watching someone perform that live and hearing someone, you know, go beyond what should be human ability, you know what I mean? It was fascinating, and watching someone play drums of that stuff or play guitar was almost like watching fireworks or something, some kind of crazy display. You're like, wow, you know, oh my God, I can't believe this guy can do that. You know, when we'd go watch, we went and saw Cynic, you know, and stood behind Sean Reinhardt and just were like, oh, what's he doing? You know what I mean? We were just all nerds and just really into the pure showmanship of being able to perform.
I think it's interesting whether I've been talking to Chris Squire or Mike Portnoy or Getty or you guys.
All your famous friends.
People I get to interview anyway.
No.
The unifying aspect seems to be like a sense of adventurousness. And I think a lot of musicians give sort of lip service to that. Like this series, no musician wants to be painted into a box. No one wants to be categorized. But the thing that really seems to unify all the people in this episode is that sort of like wanting to kind of keep people on their toes, wanting to kind of give them the unexpected in a way.
Yeah, surprise them in the song, you know. I feel like there has to be a surprise in every song where, you know, you can kind of imagine your standard fan almost being surprised and happy or being surprised and upset by something that you've put in there. You know, I don't know. There's something kind of fun about like and there's like almost like an Andy Kaufman type of like, oh man, someone's gonna hate this, you know, or they're gonna love it, you know, or they're gonna love that we put it in there. You know what I mean? So. I don't know. It's for both people.
The Andy Kaufman of metal.
Yeah,
It's a great phrase. As we move into the early 2000s, you know, you guys put out the first record and you're starting to gain momentum and an audience. I mean, who was coming to your shows? Was it a straight up metal crowd, or was it a mix of people out there?
Lumberjacks, you know.
Yeah, excellent.
Giant men with giant beards that like to be super drunk all day long and ride around on freight trains.
And Leviathan did seem to kind of push you guys fairly significantly forward in terms of people's awareness. I became aware of you on Leviathan and then went back and discovered Remission.
I think that's when a lot of people got on board with that record. I had like this really long flight, and I met the guys in London or somewhere in the UK, and we were starting a tour, and I was like, we got to do the record about Moby Dick. And I had I had a big old spiel and just talked about the similarities, and we could have two harpoons cross, and the big M, and the big whale, and all this stuff, and everybody was excited about it. So it gave us like stuff to sing about and something to look at.
Right.
I don't know. We thought it was cool.
The fact that you guys appeared on Conan O'Brien always appeared like kind of a bizarre thing to me. How does this band Mastodon
I don't
get
understand.
on this sort of late night massive TV show? What was that like to play on Conan?
Like shit your pants style nervousness. It starts and you're just like shaking, and the first like TV appearance that you do, I just was, oh god, don't mess up, you know what I mean? Luckily it was Colony Birchman, so it's not like the hardest song. There's not like a lot of like crazy insane changes in it or anything, so it went pretty smooth. I think it went okay, but I can definitely see the fear when I watch the performance back, which maybe watch once or twice, but
yeah,
those are bizarre, because you play one song and you play it to an audience of people that's not necessarily there to see you. Mm-hmm. They don't even know what they're going to see. There are people on vacation in New York that are like, we're going to go see this show, and maybe Tom Hanks will be the guest, and wouldn't that be great? At the end of the day, like stuff like that's just cool for your like grandparents and parents and your family. Like, hey, they're on TV. I mean, because they can't be there when you're playing in front of whatever 50,000 people with Metallica or something. They hear about that, and they know that must be a good thing because you told them it was a good thing, and sure, yeah, that's great. But you can't tell the girls down at the hair salon that your grandson's open. You can tell him that he's going to be on TV, going to be on Conan O'Brien, or going to be on David Letterman, and that will, or you can say he was nominated for a Grammy, and they say, oh, I know what that is. That's good. You know what I mean? You
guys are ascending, and I think that it seems from my vantage point that, from the perspective of this series, there are very few kind of subgenres of metal that are really kind of flourishing. And progressive metal seems to be one of them. And I think it's represented by you guys, and it's represented by Rush.
That's messed
kind
up.
Of the new guard and the old guard.
Right.
I mean, any thoughts as to why? I mean, why are young kids, do you think, drawn to this music right now?
I would imagine that it's the same reason that I was drawn to it. That kind of, wow, look what they can do. And I want to try to do that. There's a innate kind of the human spirit, or that we are always trying to discover new things and try to go beyond our abilities, or go beyond the abilities of someone else. And I think that progressive music is really something that speaks to in a big way. That's why I wanted to do that, because it's like you're creating this art, and you're hopefully creating something that's never been done before, or it's we as human beings are always trying to run faster or do this better, or you know what I mean, like constantly trying to break records and just go to outer space and do all this crazy stuff that we're not supposed to do. Like, you can't do that. Yes, I can do it, and I'll show you I can play this crazy thing, and it's really hard, and I can't do it right now, but I'm gonna be able to do it. And so there's something to that, that's inside of the progressive music that I think drives those kids and those people, and will always, be there